Welcome everyone to the October 7th Board of Ed workshop. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I guess as we start, everyone might notice that we have a slightly different configuration of the tables this evening. This is something we decided to do for our workshop sessions to make it a little more casual and conversational amongst the board, which brings us then to our first section of the meeting, which is actually, I guess, my report, right? That's what we're up to. Okay, so we have a regional planning update. As promised, we wanted to update the public on where we were with the regional planning discussion after our September meeting. This update will also go on our website, and I created a timeline graphic so it's clear where the process started, where we are right now, and what the future steps can and will be. So please look for those updates on the website. But basically on September 30th, Dr. Bronstein certified that the Somers Central School District will continue the active participation in the regional planning conversations related to the activities that are labeled 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. We actually have this linked to those specifics of those activities on our website currently in the presentation that we gave last meeting. So this certification underscores the district's commitment to staying engaged in collaborative efforts that impact the educational landscape for Somers students. The details of these 4 activities thoroughly discussed last time, and we provided an opportunity for board members to review the objectives and implications of each activity, ensuring that all decisions align with the best interests of Somers students and the broader school community. Following the board meeting, a public comment period was opened, running until September 26th. This period allowed community members to review the planning materials, ask questions, and provide feedback, comments regarding the proposed activities. The board values the input of the community and recognizes the importance of transparency and collaboration in the decision-making process. In consultation with Dr. Bronstein, the board agreed that the remaining part of the ongoing conversations is in the best interest of Somers Central School District. The board will continue to carefully consider all available information and community input, striving to make decisions that benefit Somers students and uphold the district's standards of excellence. At this point, the Somers Central School District has not committed any resources to this plan, but we have agreed to move forward with contributing to the planning process for the activities listed in the presentation. And hopefully then this will lead to potentially some co-service agreements with the BOCES going forward, and that we can decide then whether or not it's in our best interests. So later this evening, I'll be asking for a motion to approve our personnel consent agenda. In anticipation of approving the agenda, I want to take a moment to highlight 2 people on the agenda this evening. Mr. Jeffrey Getman has put in his resignation with the intent to retire in June, after serving our school district as both a counselor and principal for 26 years. In addition, Mr. Darryl Palazzetti has also put in his resignation with the intent to retire in December after serving our school district as a custodial worker for just shy of 35 years. I want to take a moment to say thank you for all of your years of service, and you will be missed. Both will be celebrated in our June board meeting when we recognize all retirees for the year. And let's see, I had the privilege of attending the UPK groundbreaking on Friday. It was a beautiful day, and I just wanted to say thank you to the SEF again for their generous grant. Thank you to Katie Winter and Meg Benedetto for pursuing the idea. And thank you to Chris McCartney and his team for preparing the grounds and getting the installation done this week, right? That's what's happening, or it's ongoing.
Hopefully getting done this week.
Done this week, yeah. I know the rain might hamper things a little bit, I suppose. Dr. Bronstein read a wonderful poem on the importance of learning through play, and I couldn't agree more. So excited for our youngest learners to have more opportunities to learn through play. And October 22nd, at 8 a.m., the board will have its first site visit of the year at the high school. I know myself and Darryl have RSVP'd, yes. I know it's not always easy or possible with work schedules, but if anyone can kind of just check their calendar, and hopefully everyone can make it. That's all I have for this evening. You're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
All right. So I just want to let everybody know I went to the New York State Council of School Superintendents Conference last weekend and sort of learned about the fiscal and legal landscape that is ahead for Somers. So that was a great opportunity to collaborate with other superintendents in the state and also in our local BOCES, some of whom also attended. I wanted to also mention that I went to the PTA council meeting last week, and I first want to just publicly thank all the PTA council representatives who attended. These are totally volunteer positions. It's thankless time, much like the board trustees here. And so I really do appreciate their dedication to the school district and all the initiatives that they plan and support on behalf of our students and our faculty. And to that end, I sent a note to our faculty encouraging them to join the PTA, because once doing so, they are then eligible to receive potential grants that are funded by the PTA. So it's a good thing all around to support the Parent-Teacher Association. Last week, we also had Custodial Appreciation Day. So very thankful to Chris McCartney and his team. He presented at our board meeting last month, and we got to see all the tremendous work they are doing for the district. So just want to echo those congratulations from last month, but also officially recognize our custodial and maintenance team for the recognition of their Appreciation Day last week. Also, the groundbreaking was a lot of fun. It was summer-like weather on a fall day. It was already fall, right?
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
And we're very excited to see, what I said is a little plot of land, but will be for kids who will have a huge impact one day on this community. So we're really excited about that. Later this week, I am going with Liz and Tara to the Fall State Consortium Fall Conference, a Tri-State Consortium Fall Conference, and it's an opportunity for us to meet with other superintendents and curriculum leaders in the area to learn about the initiatives from that network, which is of great benefit to Somers. So I look forward to learning about what's happening throughout the region and sharing that upon our return. I know Mr. Albano is here, and we're going to be doing a lot of senior games in the next couple of weeks, and so just want to acknowledge and recognize the senior class, two of whom are on our board as ex officio members, but they will be competing over the next couple weeks in games in which we really recognize and acknowledge their contributions to the school district, not just their senior year, but really all the years as student athletes within the Somers Central School District. So I'm very excited. I think we're kicking it off with volleyball as a senior game, then soccer, field hockey, and football in the next coming weeks. Take a look at the athletic schedule for more information about that. As a reminder to the community, we're closed on Monday for Columbus Day, and then on Tuesday of next week is our Professional Learning Day. So we are closed for students, but we are open for all of our adult learners. And I just want to share that our elementary faculty will be engaged in a workshop with respect to our elementary literacy program, which is particularly emphasizing learning about the writing process and deepening their understanding of that through the Wit and Wisdom curriculum that we are adopting. And then our secondary faculty are going to be engaged in learning sessions over the course of the day, in particular emphasizing 4 areas: differentiation, executive functioning, self-management, and teacher tools relating to AI. And so all of those were discussed initially at that success plan presentation last month. So we're really augmenting our teachers' understanding of how to utilize those 4 areas on October 14th. So we're really putting those days to good use. And then next week, we have our first convening of the Superintendent's Leadership Group on Wednesday, which will be co-chaired by our esteemed ex officio board members here, Jimmy and Allie. But we have representation on that group from 5th grade all the way through 12th grade. And we're all meeting together in my office, and there's pizza, and we'll see what great ideas the students come up with to contribute to the district. I'm not predetermining what we're doing, because it's really about the ideas of the students under the leadership of our 2 esteemed trustees over here, and so really looking forward to that. I want to echo the congratulations for Jeff Getman and Daryl Palizzetti on their upcoming retirements, and thank them for many years of service to the district. And last but not least, I'm excited about the presentation this evening from Phil Kavanaugh and Tommy Albano about one of our elements of excellence that they will provide further detail for the board. So thank you both for your work this evening, and I'll be looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Great. Look forward to the future updates from all this Professional Learning Day, too. That sounds really exciting. All right, so I guess that means you guys are up. Oh, wait, no, public comment. Sorry. This brings us to our first public comment section of the evening. Is anyone here to present public comment? Okay. Have to do it. Now we can go to our central office presentation, and we're going to, as Dr. Bronstein said, Social, Emotional, and Physical Wellness by Phil Kavanaugh and Tommy Albano.
Okay, good evening, and thanks for having us. And I apologize in advance, a little bit under the weather. Hopefully I'm coherent. We'll start off in terms of our just understanding for our social emotional teams. Our social emotional teams, what that consists of are our school counselors, our school social workers, and our school psychologists. And that mission, as you can see, if we could go to the next slide, yes, their mission collectively is to teach and model for all students the lifelong skills of self-regulation, self-management, and effective social engagement. As any of us especially who are parents, know that when our kids are not emotionally regulated, it can be a very difficult day. And obviously then learning can be very difficult, if you can imagine the school setting. So it's an important role, and we operate very, very effectively. We've come a long way. I can certainly think since I've started here in having some really tight, effective teams that work together and in conjunction, both with administration and with staff, using data effectively to be proactive in helping students. So under that umbrella, with our 25-26 district priorities, our first priority is to build faculty and staff capacity to support students' executive functioning and self-management skills. We also have our second one is to, and these are not in priority order, but to implement a 5 to 12 wellness assessment and develop a corresponding reporting system. I'm going to be speaking to these 2 points, and Mr. Brown is going to be speaking to our alignment of the K-8 health and wellness curriculum. With respect to the building faculty and staff capacity to support executive functioning and self-management skills, this is something we made a real focused effort. This began back in 2022. The goal that we established was that we were not going to do this, have this be a speaker come in and present and leave, and we all say that was really nice. Where we really wanted to build in a systematic approach and what we've had since that point is that we've had entire faculty trainings, we've had we've had administrative trainings, and we've had, since then, that has sprung forth to specific cohort trainings of teachers, more intensive. So it was to lay the groundwork, have people have a general understanding of what executive functioning is, and then make sure that we had some people with more specific buy-in who really wanted to hone in a little tighter and learn some of those skills, both that they could incorporate immediately into the classroom to support learning, and also to be turnkey trainers for other teachers. This has been each building has had its own opportunity to participate in these forums, and this past summer we've also delved into our next steps for moving forward and how those turnkey trainers are going to assist staff in the building with implementing those executive functioning strategies into their daily instructional routines. So with that said, and we could go to the next slide, Liz. The biggest thing is, I keep saying executive functioning, and I think just to make sure we're all operating on the same page in terms of what executive functioning is, when I think about executive functioning, and you see there's a chart there that goes through each different step of impulse control, emotional control, flexible thinking, working memory, self-monitoring, planning and prioritizing, task initiation, and organization. We can think about this from our own perspective as adults, how effectively we do this. Executive functioning is not just for our students, it's just more challenging for a developing brain. When I think about executive functioning, though, the biggest things I think of are time and emotion regulation. The time is the most significant thing that we've realized, and if you look at that clock, that past, present, and future, one of the most interesting things is how effectively can you play with future time? Someone with weak executive functioning skills, if they have something to do, they're not necessarily going to map that out in their mind, what that's going to look like, how much time that's going to take. You could imagine that for any function we have to do during a day. If you didn't know what time you were supposed to be here, what you would have to do to prepare to be here. Pieces like that, that together, and this is one of the strategies that our teachers use, is that working clock, so that students can physically see time. We've come to the understanding that when students look at digital time, they don't see it they don't have the same physical sense of that time. And also too, as you see that in the upper left corner there, that whole get ready, do done model, the idea of starting with what done looks like. If you don't know what your finished product is intended to be, it's very difficult to engage in the work. And for a lot of students who can who have good executive functioning skills and are told to do X, Y, Z, they can do that. Other students, I always make the analogous, if you put me in a boat and tell me how to row, I'm not going to be paying that much attention to how to row, but if you show me where we're going first, then I'll be more attentive to how to row. And that has a lot to do with that, the time it's going to take me to do this and what I need to do to get there. And these are some strategies that our teachers have currently put in place in class. Not all, but we have teachers who are using this every day, and we're just planning on having these strategies within each classroom. I'm sure many of us at the table could think about if we were in that learning environment and if we knew exactly what done looked like before we even started, it would probably be more effective learning for us. So that understanding of that time, and none of this also too can happen if you are not emotionally regulated. And so that is really one of the first pieces, and that leads us to our next piece, which is the current wellness assessment. If we remember, we had a wellness assessment called Co-Vitality 2 years ago. We had a year off where the company that delivered it folded. In that time, the Social Emotional Wellness Advisory Committee, which Amanda is on, the CWEC group, researched a lot of different assessments that are out there and selected this assessment from it's the Washoe County School District in Nevada. Would have never thought. In combination with, they also work with universities and research organizations and with their own students to develop a validated assessment. Within the Social Emotional Wellness Advisory Committee, this was hands down the choice. And that committee, again, is made up of students, parents, board member, administration, and wellness team members. And the biggest focus here, one of the biggest differences is, and happily it's also free assessment, so that's a plus. But more than anything, we really felt like it fit for us. One of the challenges, there were a few challenges with our last assessment. While we found it effective, there are a fair number of people who felt it was intrusive. And I totally understand that perspective. If we remember, one of the buckets was psychological distress. It also put us in a position that if a student was indicating that they had a high level of psychological distress, it was incumbent upon us then to have really direct follow-up with that student, even if if there was no intentionality behind some of their responses. This is a very different survey. It's really, and it's not even a survey, it's a self-reflection of a self-assessment, and it focuses much more on academic skills. What we're hoping to capture here is how students assess their own skill in managing their mood, social situations, schoolwork, and personal and academic goals. It's very specific, and a lot of the questions relate directly to executive functioning. Our hope there is to be able to get not only individual feedback on how the strengths students are identifying, how they can leverage those strengths to their advantage, but also what areas could I work on. That's on the individual level, and for us as a school, the goal is to see also too, do we have groups, oftentimes we say things that we observe anecdotally. A lot of kids are struggling with X. What is a lot of kids? But this will hopefully give us a better sense of what do kids really find, and it's only broken down in terms of very difficult, easy, or very easy for me. And it's assessing the skill, not the student themselves, what the student perceives their skill to be. If we go to the next slide, Liz. This is just a snapshot of it. So it really breaks down, if you look in the self-awareness, self-concept, self-awareness, emotion knowledge, and social awareness. So it's broken down to this self-awareness and then self-management. So how well do I think I know, do I know what I'm doing? Do I know that this is difficult or easy? My awareness of that? And then, can I do anything about it? Do I actively do anything about it? Some of the questions you could see that self-awareness is, do I know what my strengths are usually? Knowing when my feelings are making it hard for me to focus. And that's a good example in terms of that emotion knowledge. And then if you look down to, so if I know that, do I have the skills in place to help me work through that thing? Those could be two different things. And that is what we're looking for to get to see also too. I think from the school perspective, we would ask, will this give us indications that we need to change some things in terms of especially tier 1 instruction that we offer through our wellness teams, and even through our health classes, through in our elementary classrooms. And again, this is being administered in grades 5 through 12. And that's where we're starting for now. The way this was designed was for at least the school district that created it in combination with those other agencies. It was just for that school district, but I've never found use of having students take an assessment and not giving them the feedback, the students and the parents that feedback. So it'll be just as before. It will be posted to the backpack once results are available. But it's also not going to be, our teams know that you are not getting information that's highly sensitive and time sensitive, that you have to really check in on students on their wellness. It's not going to be to that degree. So we're excited to see what we get from that. We're excited for students to get that feedback, for parents to get that feedback, and to see if there's anything there that they didn't anticipate. You'll see the exact questions you'll also see the responses that student gave for each specific question. So if it is something that was a skill that they found very difficult, you'll be able to see, okay, so what was that question? What skill is that you found to be very difficult or very easy? And do you agree as a parent that that's a skill that they can demonstrate? So kids are taking it this week, and we'll be excited to see the results.
And I think we liked how much the language was very student-centered, and it was a lot more easily digestible, I think, all across the board
Yes.
than some of the other questions.
Yes. And our kids felt that as well, too, which was extremely important. All right, and then I will pass it over to Mr. Albano.
Sir. So on this page, we're gonna kind of shine a light on what we've kind of started to roll out. Last year was our first year really rolling it out at SIS, and that's kind of the K-8, K through 8 health curriculum, health and wellness curriculum. What we wanted to do is basically start to show students at a K level as they get up into the middle school, kind of a mainstream of words that they're going to hear, topics that they're going to be seeing in their school hallways. SIS, we push into classroom. You could see the topics below. We wanted a nice line between, excuse me, Primrose up through SIS into the middle school. The main thing that we really wanted to focus on was age appropriate. We really wanted to focus on students at Primrose understanding what the food plate looked like, and then being able to dive into it a little bit more when we get up to SIS. Then when we leave SIS and come to the middle school, not only do we talk about healthy choices about food plate, but healthy choices when we talk about drugs and alcohol and tobacco. So we wanted to just be able to not so much build up from the ground level, but more kind of trickle down from the high school, Mr. Cleary and Mr. Arnett, down into SIS and to Primrose. The way we do that at Primrose is we have a health teacher push into classes once a month with these topics below, and they actually kind of align with some of the things that the teachers are doing in their own classes. So for instance, Wit and Wisdom talks about a figurative and literal heart, so we do Heart Healthy Month. When it comes to Primrose, right outside the physical education area, we have handouts. We've created OneNotes where teachers can, when February comes around and flu is hitting their classrooms hard, they can go in, they can find maybe a little video, a little worksheet that they can bring home. We can also do a lesson on how to wash your hands correctly, sing the alphabet or ABC, or excuse me, your happy birthday song two times. And that is enough to be able to now get all those nice germs off of our hands. So that is a way we want to be able to, again, not build up but kind of trickle down from the high school down to middle school to SIS to Primrose. So we're going off of the standards that we want our students to be able to see year after year. And then when they come to middle school and high school, when health education really starts to count in terms of in the class and on the books, it is something that they've been seeing throughout their lives.
Okay.
That's all we have.
It's rather a lot. It's a pretty comprehensive program.
Well, you know what, it's, what we started to do, we started to just build the topics, and actually last year we rolled it out where we were pushing into the classrooms. The kids loved it, and we started to actually get a little funding where we would do a lesson in terms of germs on your hands, where we would do washing hands versus hand sanitizer. We put a cream on, you wouldn't see the cream, and then we would shine your hand under black lights. So you'd be able to see where it sits under your nails, and we'd see hand sanitizer versus hand washing, which one does better, which one spreads the germs instead of actually removing it. So the kids really loved it. They also get to see the phys ed teachers outside of the gym into the classroom, which kind of switches it up a little bit. We started with the teachers using that time as time for them to have some freedom to go make their copies, do their grading. They ended up staying in the classroom and being able to then refer to some of the lessons that we do in class, like we see all the water bottles at the table. Hydration is a big one. We talk about sleep. We did sleep collection data last year for students. So there's a lot of different things that it's probably being taught about at home, and we're just kind of now extending that brain from home to school, because that's all the type of things that are hot in today's world. And we're talking about the food plate's really big down there. Kids started to be able to learn how to read labels, and again, that's a little bit for SIS, but for little kids to incorporate that into the phys ed world too, where if you have to build your own food plate, you have a hula hoop and you go down and get different colors that represent different fruits and vegetables, and now you're incorporating physical activity. So I think it's something that, again, if we have word walls and we have concepts, that's a fun way to learn at Primrose, and then we can kind of build and be more comprehensive as we get to SIS, and then of course as we grow from there.
Good idea. Nice.
Does anyone have any questions? Is there any student input for what you guys have, did you guys take the survey yet?
We haven't yet.
No, I haven't.
But I do like the how it's reflective in a sense. Like
Yeah.
you're able to kind of look at like what are my strengths, and it makes you kind of think about what you've done and like what you could improve on. And I like that aspect because I think it'll lead to some good reflection among students.
Agreed, that's definitely what we talked about. That's what stuck out at us when we talked about it as a
Right.
committee.
I think that the plan for the younger kids in Primrose and SIS is going to be really beneficial, especially pushing into classes. I'm just curious if there's going to be any expected changes within the middle or the high school, or if it's pretty much the curriculum as usual, and then it's the younger grades.
I think we can always kind of evolve and change and adapt. With this kind of being the main point that we're focusing on now, I think we can evolve with Mr. Arnett and Mr. Cleary and kind of evolve what we have there, build, see what's working, maybe tap into the student data in terms of what you might like to see different in terms of lessons and topics, and see if that all falls within our curriculum. If not, maybe if it still falls within standards. The thing that's nice about the standards, I think we have a lot of flexibility and freedom because, you know, health is a very big topic and a lot falls under that umbrella. So we're always open to evolving it and moving it and changing it.
Okay.
As far as I know you said executive function in all 4 buildings, and obviously the sooner we get it systematized, I guess, in the younger grades, the better going up. But so how is it looking as far as, middle and high school, incorporating it throughout?
Yeah, I think different buildings are, especially 2 of our people who are our lead trainers who work directly. We worked with this company, this Cognitive Connections, and some of you may have seen her come here, Kristen Jacobson. She was here to speak to parents 2 years ago, I think it was now. And 2 of our lead people are at SIS, they're based out of SIS, so I'd say SIS is by far the furthest ahead, but you have people, especially here, I can think of like Darlene Esposito here, who certain people have taken it with such a passion that they've led workshops here too. And that's what we are just continually trying to grow it. It's always competing with other priorities.
Sure.
Like everything. But I do think it's one of those things that when people start to cue into it, you can't help but see that kids are getting things faster.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's not pushing curriculum away. It's just a way of delivering that's more effective. That's going to capture your students a little quicker. I also think they're at a greater advantage right now without the phones, frankly.
Yeah.
I can't think of any singular thing, not the phone itself, but the apps that is as threatening to anyone's executive functioning. We even saw
Prime
kids-
time sucker, right? That's
they call it time robbers. And if you think about those two things, time and emotion, think about what you get from your phone, from your social media phone. It's intentionally trying to feed you negative emotion, because that's what you feed
Yep.
off of most, and to rob you of your time.
Right.
Yeah.
And the physical component of it, right? That stress level when you're
Yep.
you're either missing out on something or somebody's saying something on the phone or something on the app and your heart rate starts going up, and before you know it, your brain is
Yeah.
not functioning the way we want it to be functioning when you're in a school environment.
Right. So I think that's going to inherently give us an advantage moving forward, and we're continuing to. That's why it's one of the big things on the 14th for the secondary is to focus on what we're doing right now is what both Ms. Mangoni and Mr. Rodriguez laid out is what teachers. This is coming from teachers. What strategies do I use in my classroom that I could share out most effectively? They're going to run workshops on those, little mini workshops where you can share strategies that different teachers are using, which is great because it's from that it's not just theoretical, it's how does this actually apply in delivering curriculum? How do I deliver this within my content or use this within my content?
And I know we have the new, like, the 5% self-management
Yes.
grade at the secondary level this year. So I think that incorporates it all, because I feel like so many kids have no concept of time anymore. Like, between digital and everything's instantaneous, everything just, you Google it, you throw it on YouTube, there's no commercial breaks anymore. Like, I remember as a kid, you had to like wait for something to come on the TV and
Yeah.
like actually schedule your time, and now it's,
Even something as simple as that, if I can't go on, I have to then plan in the morning, like where am I going to meet my friends for lunch? I have to think about that in advance. That's playing with future time.
Yeah.
It forces you to do that. I have to know what my assignment is. I have to play with future time and look to see what is it that I have to do. It is learning new habits, but absent the need, why learn them?
yeah.
So now at least so again, that's I think a plus for us, as many states have done, but it's that and being explicit with the strategies in the classroom.
No, I think it's huge. I think it's a really important skill for kids to have in life in general.
Yeah. Now we just need adults to model it for them.
Great. Does anyone else have any other?
Are we hitting any of these topics for the physical wellness, like in the schools right now?
Yes, these were topics for SIS. These were topics that we rolled out last year. I pushed into classrooms and did it. And then Ms. Cambini, who's there now, is pushing into classrooms. So she has Canvas set up with exit tickets and handouts for, we don't give homework, but we give some things. So like last year, we gave a sleep chart. What time did you go to sleep? How did you feel when you woke up? How many hours did you sleep total? And then it was actually really interesting. For about 2 weeks, kids got to track it. I didn't think kids were doing it for the full 2 weeks, but then when they were coming to phys ed class, they were asking for more sheets. So we created a bulletin board outside of the classroom, also the phys ed room, with folders for that month's worksheets. So again, it could even be something simple like build your own food plate. Bring it home, sit with your family, build your own food plate, or write down what you had. Did you have enough fruits, vegetables, proteins? So we are pushing into it, into the classrooms now. At Primrose, we're still working on getting it going, but there are also things that they're focusing on, like goal setting. They start a koala climbing club, and it's goal setting, and they have pieces of tape on the climbing rope. So before you get up there, okay, where's your goal? Everyone picks the top obviously. But then when they start to climb, all right, that one's a little bit unrealistic. Let's see if we can now readjust your goals. So they're rolling it out a little differently, more in the phys ed world, and then we're trying to get it into the classrooms, not so much push in, but to give the teachers like a one note to be able to, again, go in and say, hey, listen, in their morning circle, this is how we cough. We cough into, what is it called, the vampire cough or Dracula cough, or sneeze into our sleeve, not our hands, and we talk about germs and things like that. So they're rolling it out a little differently. Again, more age appropriate, but we.
Mrs. Elkana just modeled the vampire cough for us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're not in the classrooms yet at Primrose. I don't know what that's going to look like, but we are in the classrooms at SIS once a month.
It's also great to see how it blends perfectly with the middle years program and the whole idea of self-assessment and students being able to take a little more control of their learning and to be able to accept criticism, constructive criticism, and be able to give it to each other, because that's such a lifelong skill that they're going to need in all aspects. And to what you were speaking about, Jimmy, the ability to say what you're good at. Because I do think sometimes we bring up our kids to be so modest that when it's their time to actually write an essay extolling their virtues, it's almost difficult for them to say it. So to learn how to say, I can do this and I'm good at it, this is something I need to work on, is such an important skill for everything.
And what's nice about this too is by the time they're seniors, right, and they're thinking about what they do beyond graduation, they will be very well situated to do those reflections. I know you're also using Naviance and other platforms to think about your preparedness beyond Somers High School. So I think these skills that both Phil and Tommy are talking about are really important. And so then next week, we're making sure our teachers are ready to continue doing this work with our students and improving all that work over the years ahead. I know Liz and Tara over here also intimately involved in the work that our teachers will do on Tuesday. So it's really, I think, important and exciting. And I really, again, thank you both for everything that you're doing to lead your respective teams.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's up to you whether you want to stay at the table or sit in the more off-camera section. It's up to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, this brings us to our pre-agenda discussion. As part of our workshops going forward, Dr. Bronstein's going to do a preview of our next upcoming business meeting, I guess you would call it, or regular meeting of the Board of Ed, which will be October 21st.
Yep, so our next meeting will be in a couple of weeks, and that will be the one in which we have the tables set up a little differently than they are this evening, and we'll have the anticipated executive session prior to the public session, and then we'll have our Tusker Pride segment with our Pride participants to be determined.
Yes.
At this point, but we will have a segment there for Tusker Pride, and then we'll have our presentations by the ex officio members, our community liaisons, which we started last month, and any committee chair liaisons, followed by your report and any of the trustees who wish to also contribute to that, followed by my report, and any cabinet members who may have a report as well. We'll have our public comment, and then we'll have any financial reports from the business office, and approval of prior minutes, and then we'll have our consent agenda that we'll also have for the board, any recommendations for CSE, CPSE, and there's also an amendment to the contract, my contract, and then we have policies that will be reviewed for first reading at the meeting on the 21st, and if those have any comment or additions, we'll incorporate those, and those would be adopted, I think, at the November 4th meeting, which is the first public meeting following that. Then we have our second public comment at the board meeting, on the 21st. And any final comments before we adjourn? So
Okay.
that would be
So we don't have
the,
like reports or anything then next time, is that right? Sorry, did you mention one and I missed it?
That's a good question. I can pull up the actual schedule for the 21st. Let's see.
I know we were working on finalizing the calendar.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
I think it's going to be 21st century knowledge and skills.
Okay.
Okay. And that'll star our curriculum office, which is Liz Turner and Tara Kearns.
Excellent. Is that a day where we're going to be hearing from some of the recap on the professional learning or not yet? That comes later. I forget now. Later? Okay.
We'll give you some as it's connected. It's a separate element.
Okay. That's true. That's a separate element of excellence. Okay. Great. So that brings us, does anyone have any comments coming up? I know you guys will be prepared. You'll be here. You guys were at the ready to speak about the policy committee updates? Okay, great. All right, then that brings us to our next public comment section. Has anyone arrived to present us with any public comments? I don't think so.
Did we miss the personnel agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, did we not? Oh, did I skip over that already?
You did.
See, this is what I'm trying to get used to. I'm doing it in this, with using my phone, and that's what I get. Sorry, yes, board action, personnel agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, hereby approves the attached personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? Okay. All right. I don't think we still have anyone arrive to comment on anything, so I'll keep going. And this just brings us to our board member comments, if anyone has anything to add.
Just congratulations again to Jeff and Daryl on their retirement. Best of luck to you guys. And thanks for Phil and Tom for coming out tonight for the presentation. Good job. Thank you.
I'm going to submit my sleep scores to you guys.
Yeah, if we could just reiterate
How
the
many
importance
inspector
of the sleep part to the fifth graders. One specifically.
It's true, I'm not gonna lie, I've almost gamified it, like my watch now tells me if I've had like a good sleep score or not, and it's like, yeah,
It's a game.
it affects me.
I think that's social and emotional wellness right there.
I'll say something. I also wanted to thank Mr. Getman and Mr. Palizzetti for over 60 years of service to our school district. That's tremendous, so thank you. And I wanted to thank Dr. Kavanaugh regarding introducing the dangers of substance abuse at SMS. That's so important. And there's a great resource there, Amanda Casey. She's available to meet with any student that may need to talk about that, as well as the parents. They can go to the Partners in Prevention website on our town website and get information and resources as well. So I just thank you so much for both of you for bringing that up.
I would echo congratulations to our retirees. You will most definitely be missed. I would thank everybody who attended our playground opening, and I think that the poem about I'm not just playing, I'm learning is particularly applicable to the presentation we heard today, because so often we, especially as we get older, sacrifice that play or outdoor time or athletic time for the other things that we think are more demanding, that merit our time more. But as we think about our use of future time, if we really think forward to our use of future time, the more that we make use of our time now to invest in our future, I hope you're all still with me, is incredibly important. And the idea that we recognize that play is so important for our youngest learners and then somehow put it to the wayside later is an important reminder that we all need to sleep a certain amount, we all need to eat the right food, and we all need some play.
Yeah, I think play is a very integral part of learning executive functioning skills too.
So come play trivia.
Yeah.
I echo congrats to Jeff Getman and the other Daryl Palizzetti for their upcoming retirements. And I think the presentation we had tonight from Phil Cavanaugh and Tony Albano was just really spectacular. I think that social emotional wellness, that physical wellness, is really the foundation upon which learning takes place, right? If the learners aren't here and they're not in a good place physically and emotionally and socially and mentally prepared to learn, that learning's not going to take place. And so I think it's really important that we recognize that and we take steps to address those issues of that whole child, because that's really what we're all about, right? That entire child, and helping them become self-aware, helping them become, understand what's going on in their bodies, what's going on in their mind, what's going on when they're interacting with other people, what's going on when they're on those apps, what's going on, what are they missing when they're doing that, and reclaiming that time, as you rightly said, Phil. So I think this is just a very, very solid foundation that we're giving, not just for learning, but for a lifetime of learning and self-awareness. And so I think that's really, really important. So thank you for that.
I just want to say that I agree with everything that everyone just said, and just add on, like, I'm so proud of our school district for embracing the executive functioning skills and teaching it explicitly to our kids, because it's just so important and such a lifelong lesson. And it's just so impressive that our teachers are really taking the helm and bringing it to us and saying, this is what we want to bring into the classroom. And I think that's great. So
I think I want to echo what we've been saying about the social emotional wellness. I think a lot of times people think that learning is just like you learn your math and you learn your English and science and stuff, but learning how to regulate yourself and all these skills is so important. And I think especially now with like social media and everything, it's really important that kids know how to do it. I was in my statistics class the other day, and for an example, we checked our screen time on our phones, and our class average, or median, depends, we were learning median versus mean, was something like 5 hours a day. And that's 5 hours of just like sitting there with a phone in your hand and like kind of not knowing what's going on around you in the world. So I think it's really important to be able to learn those skills of like regulating yourself and recognizing those things. So I want to commend everyone for emphasizing that. I think it's so important in today's world.
I want to echo pretty much everything Jimmy said. And also, I think this focus on time management skills are going to be really beneficial to the kids in the younger grades, because I know I struggle and a lot of my friends struggle with time management, whether it comes to school or managing outside activities. So I think starting to learn about that a lot younger, and I feel as though we didn't learn about it young enough, will be really helpful for when those kids get older.
agreed. Okay. And on that note, resolved that this workshop meeting of the Board of Education be adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained? Okay.